All right, welcome back to the First and 35 podcast, episode 6, I believe, if anyone's keeping track. I'm Gus Cousins, but nobody really cares about that. Across the table from me is Ben Jordan, and the administrator, Smokey Graham, who will have a much bigger part in today's episode.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that. To start it off, very lackadaisical effort on our part this week, and mixed with not a whole lot going on. Aside from the NHL trade deadline, which we'll talk probably the most about in this, and a little bit of baseball because Blue Jays, they finally played a game, and they're actually doing pretty well, so we'll get to that in a bit. But outside of that, we're bringing back trivia at the end. Trivia round 2.
Always some inner excitement.
Yeah, always exciting. We'll try not to get smoked as badly as we did last time. This time we're relying on our arbiter, Smokey Graham, here to fill us in on the questions and keep scoring all that. So maybe, just maybe, it'll turn out a little better for us. But we'll save that for the end. Probably just to get things off and running, run through the trade deadline.
Yeah, exciting.
Even in the middle of us recording last week, more trades.
Yeah,
and then it kept
went
going.
Through like a bunch of stuff last week and then piled on top.
And we cannot forget about David Ayres. We'll talk about that at the end of the hockey stuff, but we cannot go continue without that gong show of a Leafs game. Anyways. So, a bunch of trades. A lot of these are kind of pointless, and a lot of these guys got traded and then proceeded to get injured right away. So, we'll probably not go too in-depth with this, because, we're all only here for the trivia, as everyone knows.
We'll just run through some stuff.
Yeah, so I'll just get going here and make it a list. The Oilers got Mike Green from the Red Wings in exchange for Kyle Brodziak and a conditional 4th-round pick.
And following what you just said, he's out 3 to 4
Mike
weeks.
Green is now injured, yes, so that's another Edmonton injury that nobody can help that team. They're so far. Are they in a playoff spot? I think they are.
I think
still.
they're third. I think they're third in the
Jesus.
Pacific.
Injuries.
Holding on by Calgary's failures.
Yeah,
is what's happening.
And that's not the latest or the last new Edmonton Oiler who gets injured.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. The Avalanche got Vladislav Nemeshnikov from the Senators in exchange for a 4th-round pick. He had a decent year with the Senators, but he's going to be probably third line.
He'd be a bottom 6 guy, but for a 4th-round pick, team going to the playoffs, good deal, whatever.
The Islanders got, in one of the bigger deals, Jean-Gabriel Pageau from the Senators in exchange for a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, and a conditional 3rd-rounder in 2022. And then proceeded to re-sign Gabriel Pageau
6 years.
6 years, which we'll discuss in a little bit more in depth later on.
He scored a goal and had a fight in his first game.
Yes, he did.
It was a really stupid goal, but he scored a goal.
It still counts. It's not how, it's how many.
That's right.
And Pageau is off and running with his new team. The Hurricanes did another big deal. They got Vincent Trocheck from the Panthers in exchange for Eric Haula, Lucas Wallmark, Eetu Nwo-Sterinen, and Chase Prisky. The last two there were just prospects. So really, as of now, it's Haula and Wallmark for Trocheck. And a lot of people were saying, well, why did Florida make this trade? They're trying to switch things up because their season's on the verge of being blown out.
They went into the All-Star break on fire,
yes,
right?
And then
they came right back out, and they've just been
they haven't been able to get a spark going ever since. So they're trying to mix things up. Trocheck will be a good addition to the Hurricanes, I should say, and and especially Lucas Wallmark.
They got 2 depth centers.
Yeah,
you can't complain about that. Right?
Yeah, it's not the greatest deal, but it's also not a terrible deal. This one kind of flew under the radar, I think, a bit, just because he's not having as good a season as he once did. The Penguins got Patrick Marleau from the struggling San Jose Sharks in exchange for a 2023 round pick. Marleau's having a decent year.
I think he signed with the Sharks thinking, I'm going back to the playoffs.
Yeah,
and then
I'm glad he is going back to the playoffs because he totally deserves it.
He does.
But with the Penguins, it's going to be weird seeing him. It was weird seeing him in a Leafs jersey for a little bit.
That was weird.
It'll be weird seeing him in a Penguins, but he's having actually a pretty good season by his standards because he's not getting paid a whole lot. He's a veteran guy, and he'll help the Penguins. Sabres got Wayne Simmons from the Devils in exchange for a conditional 5th-rounder.
That's the most confusing trade of the deadline.
Yeah, quite possibly because at that point, I think the Sabres probably thought we can still be in it a little bit because they were kind of close, but they've fallen off even more. And
they're so streaky. They go from being kind of close to way too far to not as far, but not close.
Yeah.
It's just a disaster.
And Wayne Simmons is not going to be too much of an impact player, I don't think. So
I think the Devils retained half of his salary, but they're still paying Simmons $2.5 million out of their cap, which is just it doesn't really matter for this year's sake, and it's on a 1-year deal, but it's just kind of why.
Yeah, I don't really understand that one. The Flyers made a couple. They got Derek Grant from the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for Kyle Chris-Cuomo and a 2024 rounder. They also got Nate Thompson from the Canadiens in exchange for a 5th rounder. Both really depth guys. None of them are bad, I wouldn't say. they'll be on the team for sure. Nate Thompson's an interesting one because he's actually had statistically a pretty good season.
Yeah, he's
with
like,
the,
he's one
with
of
the
those gritty
Canadians.
players.
Yeah,
he'll score more goals than you think.
Yeah, he's probably not getting to 20 or anything like
Yeah,
that, but he'll put up points from weird places, weird spots, and I think he's actually pretty good defensively too. The Capitals got Ilya Kovalchuk from the Canadians in exchange for a third-round pick.
He'll join his Russian boys.
Yes, Ovi and all of them. Kovalchuk, resurgence of a career, really, the minute he got to Montreal, because he was struggling in Los Angeles.
He signed that sort of bigger deal with the Kings.
Yes, and he couldn't do anything.
It looked okay at the start, and then it was just like, nope, this is.
But it did not pay off, so the Canadians got him for cheap, and now they get a third-round pick, right? I don't think that's overly terrible for a league minimum player. They pay a league
minimum deal, and they get a third-round pick. That's amazing.
The Avalanche got Michael Hutchinson from the Toronto Maple Leafs in exchange for prospect defenseman Calle Rosen. Hutchinson will probably fill in for a couple games here and there with the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
Once again, looking to get his career back on track. But obviously, he won't get. When Grubauer comes back, he'll play.
He's done.
Pavel. Oh, is he done?
No. Hutchinson's done. Once Grubauer comes back.
Oh yes, Grubauer comes back. Pavel Francouz, who's having an outstanding rookie season. So he'll just be maybe the third string guy there. But he's looking to get back on track. Speaking of the Oilers again, they got Andreas Athanasiou, Ryan Kuffner from the Red Wings in exchange for forward Sam Gagner, a second-round pick, and a 2020 second-round pick. And then Athanasiou got injured. Shocking. So they're 2 for 2 on a veteran defenseman and the worst plus-minus guy in the league.
What is he, down to minus
48,
100?
I think, or something.
Or minus 50?
Yeah.
Now?
So both those guys, I think they actually had good first games too. And then they both got hurt.
Well, Athanasiou's not a bad player.
No, he's not.
I mean, part of the whole plus-minus thing is he plays on Detroit. Right?
Yes. And not that it's the biggest deal in the world. Plus-minus should not be the deciding factor.
I think the leading plus-minus player in the NHL right now, I think, is Ryan Graves. I don't even know if you know who that is.
I do. I could not tell you what. Is he... I couldn't tell you what team he's on, but I recognize the name. Yes. Yeah.
Ryan Graves.
So, yeah, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
You take it with a grain of salt, yeah.
But in any case, it's another injury. The Senators got Matthew Pekka from the Canadians in exchange for Aaron Lucic, former Leaf minor leaguer, I believe, and a 2020 7th-round pick. It's really nothing trade, although Pekka will slot in to get some of the, he'll get a shot in Ottawa this year and next year too. The Oilers, they also got Tyler Ennis from the Senators in exchange for a 2021 5th-rounder. I believe he's probably the lone trade deadline pickup for the Oilers that isn't injured. And he's actually having a decent season too, quietly.
Yeah, he's a decent player. I remember the Leafs signed him to a 1-year deal last year, and he was a nice surprise.
Well, he was like the Jason Spezza of this year, right? They're very comparable.
Maybe even a bit better.
Yes, a little bit better. The Flames, they got Derek Forbort from the Kings in exchange for a 2020 conditional 4th-rounder. That's a nothing deal. Again, he might get a couple minutes here and there in games on the Flames on defense, but other than that, not a whole lot. Big one here. The Golden Knights got goalie Robin Lehner, Martins Dierslax from the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for Malcolm Subban, Slava Demim, and a 2020 2nd-round pick. And the Leafs pulled out a 2020 5th-round pick. They just inserted themselves into the deal, paid some money for Lehner.
Paid a little money for a pick.
Yes.
It seems a little weird, but...
Yes. Technically speaking, as I read through that deal, for like 10 minutes, Robin Lehner was actually on the Leafs. He was, by definition, on the Leafs. Now, he was never going to play, but because the Leafs inserted themselves right in the middle. So Lehner went from the Blackhawks to the Leafs very briefly to the Golden Knights, and that's how they got a 5th-round pick.
I don't know. To be honest, I kind of think it's now that the trade deadline's passed, the Leafs aren't going to be getting any major things, right? So if they have a little extra cap money, like getting a pick, I guess, isn't the worst.
No, it's
right?
Yeah, and I mean, hey, that 5th-rounder could turn out to be someone good.
Yeah, you never really know.
I know you absolutely love this trade. The Hurricanes got defenseman Brady Skay from the Rangers in exchange for a 2020 1st-round pick. I thought that was a good move for the Hurricanes.
Yep.
I think that was a great move for the Hurricanes. I know there were certain other teams that maybe could have traded for that certain defenseman using a 1st-round pick.
Hey, it happens,
Yes, it happens. The Hurricanes...
That involves some dominoes and...
Yes, I know.
To fall in the right place.
Barry going one way, picks coming the other way.
In the moment, I was a little fired up, as you know.
Yes, I know.
But...
We'll all get through it together. The Hurricanes were not done. They also got Sami Vatanen from the Devils in exchange for Frederick Claesson, Yanni Kuokkanen, and a conditional 4th rounder.
No, they're good.
Vatanen, very good.
Yeah.
The Hurricanes had a really good deadline. I think Trocheck, Vatanen,
and the only thing that might screw them over is the fact that they don't really have a goalie.
Skay, yeah, I know. Well, not right now.
Not right now is what I mean, but right now it kind of matters.
Yes. The whole goalie situation, which we will delve into a little bit later, i.e. David Ayres. But anyways, the Blue Jackets got Devon Shore from the Ducks in exchange for Sonny Milano. Sonny Milano only noticeable because that one game he played against Dallas, he scored a goal between his legs. And he
I remember that goal.
Of course it was against Dallas. Why wouldn't it be? The Predators got former Leaf Corbinian Holzer from the Ducks in exchange for Matt Irwin and a 2022 6th-round pick. That's just another depth guy. He won't get many minutes if he gets any minutes at all with the Predators, but he's a tough player. He's gritty. Maybe they'll be able to use him. The Lightning got Barclay Goodrow and a 2023 rounder from the Sharks in exchange for Anthony Greco and a 1st-round pick. The Lightning just loading up. They're obviously well into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they're just loading up with guys that they think can help push them.
No, they've made some questionable overpayments in my mind.
Yeah.
Like they've gotten Barclay Goodrow and Blake Coleman basically for 2 first-round picks and Nolan Foote.
Yeah.
Which is essentially last year's first-round pick, so it's almost like 3 first-round picks.
Yes.
So it's just like a little much maybe.
I have no idea who Anthony Greco is, but I guess the Sharks won't like him. I mean, for all I know, he could be another 1st-round. I know he was actually traded to the Sharks, or traded to the Lightning, recently. So he wasn't there for too long, but I know absolutely nothing about the kid.
No, neither do I. I mean, I don't think he wasn't a first-round pick because I know most of the guys who were drafted in the 1st round.
Yeah. The Ducks got my favorite former Bruins forward, Danton Heinen, in exchange for Nick Ritchie. That's just another 1-for-1. The Ducks obviously aren't going anywhere, and they're trying to get younger, and the Bruins like Nick Ritchie because of his physical play.
Not a bad player.
Yeah, the Sabres got Dominic Cahoon from the Penguins in exchange for Connor Sheary and Evan Rodriguez.
Connor Sheary going
wanting
back to
out
Pittsburgh
for a long time. Yeah. I think that was a good deal for both sides. Cahoon's still young, I think, so the Sabres will get him.
Yeah, and I think it was 2 years ago in the playoffs that it was when Sheary played with Crosby and Gensel.
Yeah.
And that was when it all started clicking, right? Gensel's career took shape and Sheary started to look really good, and then they just dumped him off. So
yeah, and they also, I bet they included Evan Rodriguez in this just because he's been wanting out of town for quite a while now. The Capitals got Daniel Sprong from the Ducks in exchange for Christian Hughes. That's a nothing trade. No real point talking about that. The Golden Knights got Nick Cousins from the Canadiens in exchange for a 2021 4th-round pick. Nick Cousins, similar, in my opinion, to Nate Thompson. Sneaky guy. He'll put up points here and there. He's tough. He's physical. He's gritty. I think it's another good, sneaky, low-risk signing by the trade for the Golden Knights. And we'll see if he gets any minutes. The Coyotes got Marcus Hannikin from the Blue Jackets in exchange for a conditional 2027 rounder. That has no point. I don't know what the hell that was. The Sharks got Brandon Davidson from the Flames in exchange for future considerations. And this was the weird thing I saw. He either plays 10 games with the team, or they re-sign him or something, and or else the Flames just don't get anything. So the Flames might have just dumped Brandon Davidson for nothing,
which could be a possibility.
Yeah, and it was similar too with the Marcus Hannikanen trade with the Coyotes.
Yeah,
and the Blue Jackets. If he doesn't play a certain amount of games with the Coyotes, which it doesn't look like he will, the Blue Jackets don't get that pick,
7th-round pick.
So they might have just given up Hannikanen for nothing. So those were 2 weird ones. The Oilers got Angus Redmond and a conditional 2022 7th rounder for Joel Persson. I forgot to include who they came from. I have no idea any of these guys. So some team out there got Joel Persson. I don't know who that is. But Angus Redmond's just an AHL goalie. He won't be playing with the Oilers for any time soon. The Flames got Eric Gustafsson, a defenseman from the Blackhawks, in exchange for conditional 2023 round pick. Gustafsson not putting up the numbers he wanted to this year in Chicago. Still a good defenseman. Still has potential upside there. But
you're honestly telling me that the Leafs couldn't give up something of that value, or even a bit more, for Gustafsson?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
What the hell?
Because that would have been, it was actually a good...
That's cheap as hell.
Yes. And now, to be fair, it's not a flat market for teams and players,
No,
right?
yeah,
Some
no, not
teams
at
will
all.
want more from
Yeah,
players
no, for
or from
sure.
teams.
But that's what I mean, like even a
than
little
other
more.
teams. Yeah. So, but I think that did seem extremely doable in my eyes too.
That's doable for the Leafs.
Yes. The Canucks got a veteran goaltender Louis Domingue from the Devils in exchange for Zane McIntyre, who was also a minor league goalie, so it's just a 1-for-1 there.
Yeah.
Domingue will play a few games.
Yeah, with Markstrom going down.
This one was only exciting because it continues Jim Nill's streak of making at least one deal at the trade deadline for the aforementioned Dallas Stars.
Not
The
too much
Panthers
significance, but
got
it still
AHL
happened.
defenseman Emile Juice from the Stars in exchange for a 2020 6th-round pick. Big whoop. I looked it up, actually. Emile Juice is actually having a decent year in the AHL. Now, obviously, he's a defenseman. I think he's 26, 27. So, and the Stars do not need that, which is why they did it for a 6th-rounder. But in any case, I'm happy. Jim Nill keeps the streak alive. The Leafs got Matt Laredo from the Islanders in exchange for Jordan Schmaltz.
Nice.
A nothing trade.
Nice.
The Flyers also got Nathan Noel from the Blackhawks in exchange for TJ Brennan. The couple extensions, just to get to, the Kings re-signed Martin Ferk for a 2-year, $1.45 million deal. He was the guy in the AHL. Fastest shot, hardest shot.
I don't know
in
if
league
you
history.
have seen the Kings prospect pool, but that is just insane.
Yeah, they have a good group of young
Like, for
guys.
all our amazing viewers out there, for all you hockey fans,
all two of
if you get a chance, go look at the Kings depth charts and look at their prospect pool, and you will be in complete shock.
Yeah, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that they have a very good future ahead of them.
Easily best in the league.
Yeah, I would
not
say.
a question.
Yeah, Ottawa maybe. Ottawa's close.
It's close, but it's when you look at the Kings, like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Goalies, they have defensemen, they have forwards. Like, if you're given ratings, it's A+, A+,
Yeah,
It's crazy.
they'll be a good team to watch in the
5
future.
years, watch out.
Yeah. The Leafs re-signed Jake Muzzin to a 4-year, $22.5 million deal.
And then he broke his hand.
Then he went out and blocked a shot and broke his hand. So he was actually playing pretty well after he got that
those
deal.
2 games.
Yeah.
He
Arguably his 2 best games
and
of the
he had like
season.
a streak where he had like 4 games in a row with
Yep.
points and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
he was actually starting to play defense and stand in the corner and put his head up instead of just chucking the puck out in front of the net.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt, and now our top left-handed defenseman is Travis Dermott.
Wah wah. Another defenseman goes down.
You know what,
I'm
though?
starting to feel bad at this point
No,
because
but
of all these injuries.
Honestly, credit to Dermott, him and Hall. They shut down Barkov and Huberdeau.
Yeah, they did a good
against
job.
Florida.
They
Like,
did a good
actually
job.
shut them out.
And that's a really hard
that's
guys to
like,
go up against.
Dadonov,
They're
Huberdeau,
offensive
Barkov is like a
machines.
top 5 line in the league. And
Yes.
Hall and Dermott did it, so
Yeah.
good to them, I guess.
As we aforementioned, the Islanders re-signed Jean-Gabriel Pageau after trading for him to a 6-year, $30 million deal, so they lock him up for the long term, and it's looking like it'll be a good deal. The Predators re-signed Rocco Grimaldi to a 2-year, $4 million deal. He's more of a depth guy, but he's come on as of late too. He's not a slouch.
Good third liner.
Yeah. The Rangers, in an interesting one, they re-signed Chris Kreider to a 7-year, $45.5 million deal.
And
everybody thought he was going to trade him.
Yeah, I was just going to say, all the days that went by, it looked more and more like he was
I
gone.
think it's a great decision to keep him because you have Panarin there for a while, you have Kreider there for a while, Buchnevich, you have all these young
and you
guys.
have guys on defense. Their defense looks
D'Angelo.
so nice. D'Angelo, Adam Fox, Truba. That's nice.
In net,
nice,
Shesterkin when he's not doing illegal
Georgiev.
U-turns and getting hurt. Georgiev, they got to ditch Henrik at some point. I don't know how and I don't know when, but they got to do it because they have a good young team. Then it's looking like they'll squeak into the playoffs this year.
And Zibanejad.
Zibanejad too.
That's a 75+ continual point scorer.
Yeah, it's a really nice team, and it'll be a fun team to watch. Obviously, if Kreider keeps putting up these numbers, and it looks like he will because he's been a very consistent player with them. The Golden Knights.
Tons of other young dudes still coming up, right?
Yes, they have a good prospect pool too.
Heedle's still coming up.
Yeah.
He's playing in the NHL, but he's gonna get better as the years go by.
My only question would be, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do with Elias Anderson. Not that he's. Did they trade him actually? No, I don't think so.
No.
Not yet. He's still off being a
because
little whiny boy off overseas.
Everyone wants to take him for cheap, right? But
Yeah.
he's still a
still a
top
first-round
prospect,
pick.
right?
Yeah.
Like if you're the Rangers, you can't just dump him. For
No,
nothing
you
at
can't
this
give
point,
up on him
even
that
if he's-
quick.
Yeah,
You can't do it.
exactly.
The Golden Knights signed 2 lower-end guys to deals. They signed Nick Holden to a 2-year, $3.4 million deal. I looked at his numbers because I had no idea who he was. he's another guy that's sneaky good on the Golden Knights team.
Defensive stats are probably really good.
Yeah, same with William Carrier, who's more notable just because he's at a longer time in the NHL. 4 years, $5.6 million. So they lock up both these guys. Obviously, Carrier is the more important one, but both these guys have had pretty good seasons.
Him and
Not
Ryan
all-star
Reeves,
seasons,
lethal.
obviously, but yes, exactly. The checking line,
Yeah.
the ultimate checking line. The Red Wings claim former Leaf Dmytro Timashov off waivers, and the Ducks claim Andrew Agozzino off waivers from Pittsburgh. Timashov didn't last very long in Toronto. It was a good attempt.
I don't know.
But he just couldn't put it all together.
It's not like they really lost much.
No, they didn't.
So who cares?
Scotty Upshall announced his retirement on live TV during Trade Center.
Really good
Trade
career.
Day. He had a really good career.
Yeah.
Well, nice guy. One of the bruisers, right? He was
Had
a
a really
very
good run in
menace.
Arizona, right?
Yeah. But he announced his retirement after a nice long career in the NHL. The Rangers, as I briefly mentioned before, they're really good young goalie. Igor Shesterkin is out 2 to 4 weeks.
He broke his rib.
Due to a rib fracture in a car crash. Apparently, somebody was trying to do a U-turn. I don't know if he was pulling a U-turn or somebody else was, but the cars ended up colliding, and now he's out for 2 to 4 weeks.
Bushnevich was in the car
But
with him,
he wasn't
I
hurt.
think.
Yeah,
he's fine though,
Bushnevich
right?
was there.
Yeah.
And now we get to the more fun part of the NHL discussion. Your boy David Ayres, NHL legend in the making right now, who it was last Saturday, right?
Yeah.
We recorded this, and then that night we all watched as David Ayres put on a dominant performance against the Maple Leafs.
Our administrator was put into complete and utter shock.
Yes, our administrator over here, who has, I don't think, ever really watched a hockey game, saw the best first hockey game you could imagine in the Carolina Hurricanes Toronto Maple Leafs game with David Ayres going in net. And it was just brilliant. Like, I know, it's you Leafs fans can now laugh about it because you went in, you beat Tampa, and you beat Florida.
Really just
So it all's well ends well. But man, that was hilarious. That was the best hockey game I've seen in a long time.
I sort of have like changed opinions on it and all that. It's like obviously you'd want the Leafs to win, but now like hearing all the different things, like it really was a lose-lose situation.
Yes, the way Dubas put it.
Honest to God, if Florida missed the playoffs by 2 points, and the Leafs had gone in there, and David Ayres let in like 7 goals on 8 shots.
Yeah.
And Florida missed the playoffs by 2 points. Like that just is so bad.
Yeah, and all like 42-year-old quote unquote Zamboni driver that works for the team. I mean, it's never happened before. It's never happened before. Right as I say that, the entire room gets really dark. So maybe this is a little bit of foreshadowing.
Lost the sunlight.
Yes. Anyways, getting back to this, David Ayres. Yeah, so he's had his full 15 minutes of fame, and probably more so. He's
days of fame. He put his stick in the Hall of Fame yesterday.
Stick in the Hall of Fame, walked around the Hall of Fame. He's getting a hockey
and all
card.
that at the game.
He got a tribute. He got to, I think, do the siren sounding in Carolina.
He's got Carolina shirts with his name on the back.
Stephen Colbert, he was on the late night show with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah,
like it was nuts, and he seems to be enjoying it. And what's better is he doesn't seem to be like, one of those, oh yes, take advantage of it all, cocky, arrogant. Like he's just like seems like one of the nicest guys out there, who's just happened to fall into the position of doing it, and he did it really well. And yes, okay, the Leafs did not shoot the puck as much as they should have.
They crumpled completely.
But outside of the first 2 shots, one of which I just got to say, no goalie is stopping that tap in.
Oh, the Engvall tap in?
Yeah. Nobody's getting that. So if you think, okay, then
no,
it's
it sort of balances out. No one's stopping that, and probably every single goalie stopping Tavares' shot.
Yes, and then you can say, well, because he even said it afterwards, right in the interview. He's like, because he's faced shots from these guys before.
Yeah.
He did not expect Tavares just to shoot it along the ice.
Going to go into the bar, right?
Yeah. So I mean, he could have let in 10 straight goals and still would have been just as good because it's a great story. Now,
in the moment it would have been good, but it's like
if the Leafs had lost that game and then proceeded to lose the 2 Florida games, we'd be having an entirely different conversation.
Like you have to be like proud of the Leafs for what they did. I mean, like facing all that adversity and facing the complete media fire and go into Tampa and beat them. Yeah, it's like I was impressed.
Yes, and then the flip side to this whole story is David Ayres, great story, everything. There's not one bad thing about it, but you lose James Reimer and you lose Peter Mrazek.
Yeah.
So now you have Anton Forsberg up and Nedeljkovic, their prospect, who was not ready. He's not ready for the NHL. He's forced into a situation he shouldn't be in. And so while it's all nice and good that, David Ayres had to do this, these Forsberg and Nedeljkovic are not going to play them into the playoffs.
Yep.
So Mrazek, I think, will be back soon. He's now day-to-day. Reimer's out a bit more long-term.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's good that they're back soon, but these games are...
It's meaningful
as the days go by, the games get more and more important, right?
Unironically, those 2 points that David Ayres got them are a big 2 points. That game was a big 2 points on the line.
That David Ayres played for, the Carolina defense.
Oh, yes, the defense absolutely shut him down. There was
13 out of 10.
Yes. They were playing so well. You throw Boston on there, you throw Tampa on there, I don't think they were scoring.
I don't know either, yeah.
They were playing so well, all came together in front of David Ayres.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, completely unbiased, as a Leafs fan as myself. Put any other team in the situation the Leafs were in with the way Carolina played, and I don't know if any other team comes back and scores 3 goals to tie it.
Because even after the first 2 go in, right? Everyone's still they're just going up there, tapping them on the pads, right? They're being friendly. It's just a great scene. Now, Rob Brindamore probably wanted to kill somebody, and then maybe himself, because he looked so upset about the whole thing. But it all worked out, and I think
his face after the second shot went in, was just not good at all.
Yeah, but I think it was great that whoever it was, I forget who on the Hurricanes, just went over and told me,
it was Hala. It was Hala.
Who
said,
he's
we don't care if you let in 10.
If you let in 10, just have fun, right? And it just totally calmed him down.
Well, and then, I can imagine. Right?
Yeah, and that was a great interview with Cal Bukowskis after. Great. He's just sweating buckets after beating the
I know.
Leafs
his face
in
is
Toronto.
An absolute tomato.
Yes, and then he had to go out and do practice with the Leafs the very next day.
Yeah.
And he came out of it and he wasn't murdered and found in a ditch anywhere. So it's great. The whole thing's great. Now, just finishing up on this with the Carolina thing, they got to get their goalie. They got to deal with that because they were in the market at the trade deadline for Robin Lehner and they didn't get him.
They didn't get anyone.
So I mean, what are they gonna do? You're gonna ride with Nedeljkovic and Anton Forsberg? I guess you have to until Mrazek is back.
Who knows if it's gonna work?
But yeah, and then the league, dumped Bill Daly or whoever came out and said, Brian Burke too. Oh, this is just a disgrace for the league. We can't have this happen again. I read a stat, and I forget exactly what it was, but I'll just summarize it. More comets fly by Earth on average every week than emergency backup goalies are needed to play.
How many
in years
since we've been watching hockey and following hockey and all that since we were born and whatever. There's been 2.
Well, there's
a few more, right?
Right, guys that are thrown in for 7 seconds. If a team's way out of the playoffs and you throw in they're guys, but this got the sport so much more popularity in such a short amount of time. Guys from Australia were chipping and hearing about this.
And it's not like we're having an emergency goalie once a week, right? Yeah. And it's causing tons of teams to lose 2 points here and there.
And it's
that,
okay,
right?
It was a big game. What if he went in? He didn't blow it. Scott Foster didn't blow it.
Yeah.
These guys didn't blow it. Now, am I saying you should send these guys out there willy-nilly, assuming they won't blow?
No, not at all.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
But they're not terrible options. So, I mean, the NHL, they say they'll do something, but I really hope they don't. Anyways, the David Ayres story, greatest story probably of the year, I would say, unless something else happens.
And just one more thing, Ovechkin got his 700th career NHL
which was
goal.
Completely overshadowed by a 42-year-old Zamboni driver being the Leafs. But yes, congratulations to him.
Yeah.
Anyways, on to baseball. Going there, the Blue Jays started playing a few games. They're 4-1, which everyone knows means they're going to go to the World Series now. But they've actually been playing pretty well. And as we bring our administrator, Smokey Graham, in here quite soon, now that the season's starting, there have not been as many, minor league trades that I can obsess over, or, DFAs, or whatnot. But there were two. There were 2 signings that I want to get to, and a few minor league ones. Very similar deals. The White Sox signed Aaron Bummer.
Right after we finished up last week.
Now, I guarantee you ask 75% of baseball fans who Aaron Bummer is, they'll say they don't know. But this guy just got a 5-year, $16 million deal to be the setup man for the White Sox for a long time. He's 26, too.
They're locking down everybody.
Yes, not messing around. And
if this plan goes to shit, they're kind of screwed.
Yes. And I like to think I know, a bunch of stupid baseball. Like, I know a lot about, all these players and whatnot. But even I had to look up Aaron Bummer, and I'm like, he had a 2.13 ERA? And I look at his stats, and I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't you sign this guy? Now, relievers are volatile as hell, and they can change up and down in an instant.
Edwin Diaz?
Yes, Edwin Diaz. But, he's a lefty. Everyone needs lefties. He's had a great couple seasons with the White Sox. It's cheap. Even if he goes out and gets shelled this year, they're not missing that average amount of money paid out per year. It's a lefty. You can use him. And the similar one I mentioned is the Brewers also signed Freddie Peralta to a 5-year, $15.5 million deal. Now, he's 3 years younger. He's 23, and he made his major league debut in 2018, and he's done decently, not overly great. He's 13-7 with a career 4.79 ERA and 163rd and a third innings pitched. But he's a young guy.
Yeah.
He eats innings. Potential to be really, really good. And I'm sure not a lot of guys outside of Milwaukee have heard of Freddie Peralta either.
The Brewers need rotation arms.
Yes, they do. And again, this is another one. Cheap. That's just over $3 million a year. Same with Bummer, just over $3 million a year. Like, you're not gonna be losing a lot of money. And in today's baseball market, that's next to nothing, realistically.
Yeah.
So, Peralta, let's say, the way I think of it, let's say he has 2 good seasons out of the next 5, and let's say Bummer has 2 good seasons out of the next 5. I view those as both wins, because Bummer is an important lefty pitcher, and Freddie Peralta is 23, and he's young as hell, right? So it's both are really, really interesting and good deals, I would say, that just kind of picked up out of the blue. No, I don't think anybody expected Aaron Bummer to get a massive contract extension last Saturday before the season started. And I don't think Milwaukee even probably expected to sign Freddie Peralta. Yeah, exactly. Like, somebody hands Bummer a $16 million contract and says, sign it. He's so doing that. Yeah. Every time. Not that he's not the best. He's pretty good, but he ain't, the Kimbrels and, the Diaz.
He's not a big name.
Yeah. But it's a great deal for the White Sox, I think, for Aaron Bummer, too, and same with the Brewers and Freddie Peralta. And I've actually started to cut down on which minor league signings I'm including, which is good. I'm starting to get my obsession under control.
That's incredible.
Yes.
It's because you know what we have planned.
Yes. I got all, excited for trivia, so I'm like, I can't waste these guys signing... hearing about little Johnny and A-Ball who just got signed with the Pirates. Anyways, just to run through a couple quick ones. Padres signed Brian Dozier, minor league deal. Ex-All-Star. Really good second baseman.
Really fell off.
Yeah. I think he'll probably play in the majors with the Padres.
Yeah.
But it's a fake minor league deal.
Like this year's Kinsler.
Yeah. The Blue Jays signed Mark Zubczynski. They took my advice. They obviously heard this entire podcast last week, and they said, we're going to go sign a lefty. And although it's not the right lefty, they still sign a lefty.
Any righty's the right lefty.
Yes. Yeah. Mark Zubczynski, former Blue Jay, was there for quite a while, had a couple good seasons, bounced around last year, signed with Cleveland. He sucked, so they cut him, and then they said, we're going to re-sign you anyways. So he went to the minors there, did decently. He's just another lefty for competition. I'll get to that in a little bit. Brian Moran looks really goddamn good.
He looks really good.
As a lefty. But anyways, the Mariners signed Reimer Liriano, as he's just a minor league outfielder. He's a former top kind of import guy who never panned out. They signed him out of Central South America, and he never hit up to his ability, but he'll get a shot with the Mariners. The White Sox signed Connor Sadzek. Who's that? I have no real idea, but they like him enough to sign him to a 2-year minor league deal, which never really happens. So, guy is getting paid. The Diamondbacks signed 2 former Blue Jays, one of which I hate with a deep passion.
The other one of which is shit.
Well, they're both pretty bad. But Dalton Pompey never panned out. He was an outfielder. The next guy, Mark Leiter Jr., which I hate him, even though it's not necessarily his fault. Because when he sucked with the Blue Jays last year, so they DFA'd him, sent him down to AAA. In the minor leagues, it's much easier to do to phantom DL guys or phantom IL guys to say, this guy was in the majors, we want him to get work in AAA. So you phantom IL guys because there's so many minor league pitchers, you just run through them all. Now, my buddy happened to be coming off of some arm injury, Matt Dermody. And as it turns out, he was the unlucky guy who got unlucky pick of the draw. They phantom IL'd him, season over. So that's how his season ended. And I'm saying Matt Dermody because I like the guy. It happens all over because I saw this and I'm like, this is such a messed up way of doing things. So I Googled it. I got all this info. It happens so much. Every team does it. You phantom IL pitchers for the 7-day ones. Then you just pick up, we think, Kirby Sneed's going to be good. We might want to give him a shot. Put him on, right? Bring him back from the IL. We think Leiter Jr. needs work. Okay, Matt Dermody, put him there. Or, for example, other people have been screwed over last year. I'm just picking on Matt Dermody. So it's totally manipulation.
That's what's going to cause a player strike, man.
Well, it's probably part of it, but it's not something that's being talked about. I'm not saying it's the biggest, most important pandemic in the world right now. Far from it. But, or in sports anyways. But anyways, so, but yeah, it's just so irritating to see, because you guys can have their minor league careers ruined, right? These are fringe MLBers. All of them. And I just think
it's not really Mark Leiter Jr.'s
No,
fault,
it's
really,
not.
right?
No, it's not. It wasn't Sam Gaviglio's fault that he got traded and picked up Dermody's spot and then he got DFA'd.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. I just take my anger out on Gaviglio, and in this case, Mark Leiter Jr. too. So I'm sure they're great guys, but I don't like either of them anymore. But apparently the Diamondbacks do, and they signed them both to minor league deals. The Red Sox claim Phillips Valdez off waivers from Texas. Hard-throwing righty. He'll just be used in the pen. He's just a gas-throwing machine, but he hasn't done a whole lot outside of that. Lonnie Chisenhall, longtime utility man, mostly with the Cleveland Indians, announced his retirement. He had a decent career.
Blue Jays killer.
Yeah, Blue Jays killer. Bounced around the infield and a couple games in the outfield to end his career. Put up pretty good minor league numbers, but he was another guy that never really got too much of a shot. Although he had a couple good seasons, good runs with the team, but then he bounced around, and he was an older guy, so he packed it up and left. And a couple piece of Yankees news, which we all love to hear about. Luis Severino is supposed to miss all of 2020 due to Tommy John surgery.
So there goes why. That's basically 2 missed seasons for him, right?
Yeah, 19 innings pitched last year, I think.
Just in September last year, yeah.
So that's really terrible, unfortunate news out of New York, which I just know the whole world cares about. But, yeah, I have no sympathy. Again, New York, Boston sports, no sympathy. And even better news, Stanton is now questionable for opening day. So, the hits just keep on coming for New York.
And same with Sale, too, right?
Sale, too, yeah. He's
on the IL for opening day.
Yeah. So
beautiful AL East news.
Yes, wonderful.
Rays, Jays duking it out for first.
Yes, exactly. Baltimore will be coming up third, and the Yankees will be going fourth and fifth with the Red Sox. But anyways, and then moving to Blue Jays, a little bit of Blue Jays news, and then we'll get to what we've all been waiting for. Blue Jays started off their spring training really, really well, I thought. Gave a lot of guys a lot of opportunities. Obviously, it's spring training. You're going to do that. A couple guys that I just want to point out who I think have had really good spring trainings to start is, as I mentioned before, Brian Moran, I think, is probably leading the way in terms of lefty relief. Because in his 2 innings, I think, he looked really good.
Yeah, like dominant.
And I know it's spring training, right? It's minor league guys too. But he murdered 3 lefties. I think he struck out all 3 in his first outing and then struck out, I think, 1 or 2 more in his second outing. Like, lefty guy, okay, maybe he doesn't have great numbers against righties. He looked dominant against those lefties. And I don't care if they're minor league guys. You fool guys like that.
There's only so much selection of lefties anyway for the team, right?
Yeah, right. So I think Moran is seriously leading the way, and he looks pretty good doing it.
Yeah.
A couple other guys we all saw about or heard. Nate Pearson made his debut, 1 inning against the Yankees, and he struck out the side.
Yeah.
Everyone's excited. 8 swinging strikes. Like, everyone's excited for him to get here. Jacob Waguespack, I thought, had a pretty good start too. Now he struggled yesterday a bit, just walked the bases and loaded, so they pulled him. But his stuff is there. Yesterday, guys just weren't swinging at it. But his changeup this year seems to be really good. I know it's spring training again, but it looked good.
Ryu threw some really nice changeups.
Ryu, got roughed up a little bit, gave up 1 or 2 runs or whatever. But his changeup was working too. A couple hitters, Santiago Espinal.
Yeah, he's hitting like
hitting really well. Patrick Kivlahan, I've liked for years. Never going to get a shot, I don't think. But he's also hitting well. And Kevin Smith, the young shortstop.
Yeah, Kevin Smith.
Him and Espinal.
He's a good prospect.
Yeah, he is a really good prospect. He's a good-looking young hitter.
Don't know where he's going to fit, but
no, I
good
don't.
Prospect.
Last year, I was saying the exact same thing about another shortstop I don't like in their system, Logan Warmoth.
Yeah, Warmoth.
who has substantially fallen off. He was in 2017 a first rounder by the team. I like him as a guy. He did well in his first season, struggled ever since. But Kevin Smith is this year's Logan Warmoth. He's a hitting machine. He's a good defender. And I mean, he's not going to make the team out of camp. He's still too young. He's too low level. But some of these guys, AJ Cole, I thought looked really good on the mound. And Yency Diaz, I thought had a good start to his season too, striking out a bunch of guys. On the flip side, because there's never just positive news, Jake Petrichka I want off the team and never re-signed. Because I get what they're doing. His third appearance, I think it's the third straight in a row where they put him in a save situation. So they're obviously trying to get him work. Like, it's very obvious they're trying to put him in high leverage spots. Okay, the first one was Anthony Alford's fault, and the third one was maybe Anthony Alford's fault too. And he got out of 2 out of 3 of them. But he looked brutal doing it. Brutal. And it's spring training. I know. I keep saying that. So take it with a grain of salt. But he doesn't look good. Hyunjin Ryu looked good even when he was struggling. This guy does not look good. Yamaguchi, I'll give a pass because it was his first outing.
He's getting used to the MLB balls.
Yes.
Come on.
Today's his second start.
Yeah, he's pitching today.
So you'll go a couple innings. Julian Merriweather, I can't even pick on him too bad. We've all moaned about him enough. Felipe Almont struggled to start. I mean, you kind of expected that too because he was from in indie ball, right, or wherever. So he's making his way back. Josh Palacios, an outfielder who low-level outfielder who I actually kind of like. He struggled. He strikes out too many times. He struck out quite a bit in his career.
Kind of like Travis Shaw.
Yeah. Lourdes Gurriel, bad start too. He's on the team anyways, and I'm not worried.
He'll figure it out.
But
right?
he's had a bad start, and Ruben Tejada has looked really off. And I think Joe Panik's probably leading the way quite a bit over him. 1 week into spring training.
Yeah, or like Espinal maybe. I don't know.
Espinal too is probably ahead of Panik, although they might want to get him a few
Panik's been
reps.
doing well too, and Panik has more like MLB experience.
Yeah,
and stuff, but
Espinal was who the Jays got for Steve Pearce.
Yeah.
All right, we're back. I think we've had back-to-back technical errors, so
yes,
I'm hoping that this is gonna work this time.
We're back. We're back for good.
We lost Tomoki's mic. Ben's computer stopped working, but we're still here. Because we're resilient and all that. We were talking about Espinal, but who really cares? Because this is a lot more exciting to deal with. So hopefully, by the time we're all done recording this, something will be up on YouTube, although I don't really know what that'll be. But anyways, baseball, schmaseball. We're all done sports, for the most part. And we're getting to the point in time where the only reason we came up here to record today, the second round
of trivia. Yep. I'll be the host for the trivia show.
Tomoki Graham will be the arbiter in this case. Little change of rules that I'll just talk about briefly. Last time, it was between Ben and I, really, asking the questions. Ben had prepared some for me. I prepared some for Ben. This time, what we're going to do is we've hired our administrator to come up with 10 questions, I believe, varying point totals.
Yep.
He will ask us, in turn, for example, if I start, he asks me a question, I get it wrong, then it will jump over to my co-host, Ben Jordan. He can steal the points and vice versa.
Yeah.
Now, Tomoki over here has come up with some super complex way of doing points. As long as he knows what's happening, I'm sure we'll be fine. So we'll get to that, and then if we have time, Ben and I have come up with a few questions of our own, but that's more fun just afterwards. And we might not even use them, so whatever. So I guess if Tomoki, the arbiter here, knows what's going on.
Okay, so I have 6 questions under modern events / pop culture, and I have 4 questions under sports.
Okay.
And so who would like to start?
Ben, would you like to start, or do you want me to go?
I think you went first last time, so I'll go first this time.
You'll go first this time.
Would you like modern events or pop culture? Or sports, right?
Let's go with the sports question.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you 30 seconds, all right?
Yes. And if he doesn't get this, I can steal for the points.
Yeah, or if I guess it wrong.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Off and running.
That's right.
All right. So baseball is a sport where you can be fat and succeed. For 1 point per player, can you name 3 of the top 20 heaviest players in MLB history?
Let's see. Pablo Sandoval.
Yep.
CC Sabathia.
Yep.
And wow. Prince Fielder.
There you go. That's 3 points for Benny.
It's not as easy as you think, eh?
No, and when you're put on the spotlight, you get a little you get a little adrenaline rush down your arms.
I'm actually glad you answered that. You got all 3 right because
I already told him.
Yeah, Tomoki had already used that question on me just as a taste when he was coming up with these. So he was like, this is what they'll be like. So yeah, I think, God, I don't even remember who the fattest guy was.
Walter Young.
Walter Young, yeah, but there were a couple, like Matt Stairs was in there.
Bartolo Colon's the fifth fattest. Yeah, 285.
Oh, yeah.
We both were, I guess you forgot about Cologne, but so yeah. Anyways.
All right, 3 points for Ben.
Not a bad start. Now I'm in a big hole.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that there. All right.
And,
so would you like sports or pop culture / modern events?
Let's go sports, since I claim to know something about that.
Okay. All right, so this is for 1 point. Let's do another 3-point question.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ryan Dempster.
Yeah.
Is a former major league pitcher that spent the majority of his 16-year career in Chicago for the Cubs.
Yeah.
And was better known for being a funny guy. Now,
and a Canadian.
Yes, I know. And I'm going to give you 3 stats here. You're going to tell me over or under.
Okay.
Okay. So did Ryan Dempster have an ERA of 4.5 over under, innings pitched of 2,500 over and under, or 250 home runs given up over and under?
So go one by one. The first one was a 4.5 ERA.
Yep. Over or under?
16 years, you said, in the majors?
Yep.
Over.
Wrong.
Shit.
Innings.
What was it?
It's 4.35 in his career with.
I just assume he's pitched that long. He must have gotten shelled for a couple of years to bring it up.
All right, 16-year career. Did he pitch 2,500 innings over under?
2,500 innings over 16 years. He was a starter for the most part, though he relieved at the end. I'll say under.
There you go. Under with
I got
2,387 innings pitched.
Adabine, look at me coming back.
Point.
Finally, 250 home runs given up over under.
I wish I had a calculator in front of me.
Mind you, this was during a time when the balls weren't juiced as much, but it's still 16-year career.
16-year career. Well, I believe he had, if I'm not mistaken, he was a fastball splitter guy, and I know splitter guys don't give up as many. 250, you said?
Over under.
I'll go under.
Wrong. Over with 267.
God damn it.
So there you go. You got 1 out of 3 possible points there.
You know what? 33% isn't bad.
Compared to Ben's 100%. Moving on. Ben,
Yeah,
modern
I guess
events,
so.
pop culture, or sports? We got
Let's
two
go
more.
with, modern events.
Okay. All right, so this is a weird one. This is a 1-point question. Recently, a baboon escaped an Australian zoo with 2 wives before getting A, a vasectomy, B, an arm amputation, or C, being put down. I can repeat the question
I'll
for
go
you.
with B.
I'm lost in
I
that
like
question.
B.
Okay, I'll re-say the question. Recently, a baboon escaped an Australian zoo with 2 wives, as in 2 monkey wives.
Oh,
okay.
I thought you said with 2 eyes.
I thought he said 2 knives.
Oh.
I'm like, that's dangerous.
Well,
2
glad we got a
wives.
They
repetition
better
there,
put that guy down. Oh.
A baboon
Two
escaped an
wives.
Australian zoo with 2 wives before getting A, a vasectomy, B, an arm amputation, or C, being put down.
I don't like answer C.
Well, you were going with B, right? Arm.
Yeah, but I'm going with B. Arm amputation.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
You are incorrect. He was
it
about
A?
to get a vasectomy before he
What?
ran away.
I
with,
had the chance to steal.
Oh, shoot. Right, I forgot that.
Oh.
That's
Oh, the
fine. That's
pity.
fine. That's
No, I
fine.
wouldn't have guessed that. I would have just assumed.
Okay,
I
you
was
know
thinking
what?
C.
You know what? Next time I have a chance to steal,
Yeah.
just
My bad.
Yeah.
I
Cancel
forgot the
it out.
rules. I
We'll
forgot the
cancel
rules.
it out. You created this.
Yeah.
I would have guessed C anyways. I would have gotten it wrong. I was thinking he'd just be put down.
No, he was gonna get a vasectomy
yeah. I
before
didn't
he
like answer
ran
C,
away with
but
2
I also
wives.
didn't think.
He's a player, I guess.
I don't know why baboons need vasectomies. I
Well,
guess
he was.
if he had 2 wives, I guess that's what
Apparently, he had good bar play if he
Yeah.
escaped with 2 wives.
he meant. Yeah. All right.
2 more lives, I guess. Anyways,
Moving on.
moving on.
Modern events, pop culture,
Modern
or
events.
sports? Okay. Should I do? I only have multiple point questions here.
I'm
Alright.
losing anyways, so.
The movie Parasite recently won an Oscar for Best Picture, causing controversy among morons. What is the director's name? 1 point for first name.
Oh,
2
Jesus.
point for full name.
Oh man, I should know it because I watched the award show. I loved the guy because he was like genuinely. It was like a great little. God.
For 2 points. 1 point first name, 2 for full
I'm
name.
thinking his first name is Shun.
Wrong.
I don't know his last name. If I tried, I'd sound racist. So.
All right, so 0 points there,
What
Ben.
was his name? Oh,
Are we gonna give
no,
it to
'cause
Ben?
he has to steal, right?
You
Alright,
screwed up
right,
the steal
right.
for him. We'll
His
just
name was Bong
cancel it out.
Joon-ho.
Yeah, that's
I was
it.
gonna give you a point for the first name because his first name is Bong, and I thought that'd be memorable, somehow.
Yeah.
I knew his first name was Bong. I
We're
didn't know
trying
his
to keep
last
this
name.
PG here.
All right, Ben. Moving on to you.
Yes, I will
Sports
go with
or pop culture?
sports.
All right, so now that we're even, we're back to me stealing. So make sure to shut your mouth before.
Same both ways.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So who is currently the second tallest player in the NHL? 1 point for name and 1 point for the height.
Okay, well.
I don't think either of us can make the height.
I think I might know who it is. Wait, is it Victor Hedman?
Nope.
Shit.
All
right, Gus, chance to steal.
All right. Well, it ain't Chara. I think we both know it ain't Chara because he's the tallest.
Yeah, no, that's...
I'm now. Oh.
Oh
God!
shit,
I'm thinking. I think I know it.
it.
Nathan Gerby's the short one. It's the taller guy. God.
10 seconds.
I know who it is.
5.
Martin Hansel.
Wrong. It is. Can I say it?
Yeah.
Tyler Myers at 6'8".
That's who I was thinking of.
And he was 6'8".
God.
All
Why
right.
did they fucking say Hedman?
Why did I? Well, Martin Hansel. Do you actually? I guess you don't know how tall Martin Hansel. He's up there, hey. I don't even know if he would count because he hasn't played an NHL game in 2 years. But he's a big boy. Jamie Alexiak's there. I'm stuck in my Dallas way of thinking.
It is Myers though.
It is Myers.
He's
yeah.
Freaking.
He's huge. He's massive. What's the score?
It is
3-1.
3-1.
You're up.
All right.
Oh, it is me.
Yes.
What do you got left?
I got 1 sports, 1, 2, 3, 4 pop culture.
Well,
modern
pop culture.
events.
Pop culture. Just to even out of it.
Okay. This is a 2. Let's use a 4-point question here, Gus.
I'd be amazed if I got 1.
Okay. Now, what are the top 4 best-selling video game consoles of all time? 1 point per, but it has to be in order. I'll give you half a point if you just name them all for each.
I just gotta shoot for that because I couldn't tell you them in order.
You might get lucky just rattling them off.
Well, okay, so I'll name them the 4 but don't interrupt me. I'll say some combination of the Xbox, the Wii original, PlayStation 2 I think was a big hit, and I'd say GameCube.
Do you want to try listing them in order?
I'll say GameCube, Xbox, Wii, PlayStation 2.
All right. Well, the real order was PlayStation 2 is the best selling,
Really?
and then the Nintendo DS, Game Boy, then the PS4. So I'll give you half a point there.
Game Boy. Oh, what did I say? GameCube? Is that a thing?
Yeah,
Yes.
GameCube is a thing.
So it's 3 to 1.5.
I forgot to give it to Ben again. I'm not very good at this. Whatever.
Shit.
Let's move on. I'll try to remember. It's it's a new thing. It's a new thing.
This is supposed to be our new and improved trivia, and it's just turning into a debauchery.
I'll take another modern events.
All right. This is that's an easy one. All right. 2-point question. As American as apple pie is a common phrase in America. However, where was the apple pie actually invented? 1 point for continent and 2 for the country.
Oh, crap.
He's come up with some good questions, eh?
That's good.
These are good questions.
I'm going to go with South America.
What country?
And I'm going to go with Paraguay.
That is unfortunately very wrong. No points there. Moving on to Gussie here.
All right.
Take
so
the steal.
sorry, he got the continent wrong too. He got it all wrong. Right.
Yep.
Also, it's an American, but it's not the American. You said that, right? It's somebody else that came up with it.
Could be North America.
American
could be
pie.
Asia,
I'll
could
say
be Europe. Could be.
I'll say Europe, and I will say Italy.
I'll give you 1 point for the continent, but the country was the UK, where it was actually invented.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So
I
there you
didn't
go.
know that. I thought the Italians and the French seem to be coming up with all sorts of things. I just assumed somebody got an idea one day. So what's it? 3 to 2.5?
3 to 2.5.
Oh, I'm making the comeback.
All right, Gus. There's 2 questions: modern events, pop culture, or 1 sports question.
Oh, modern events.
Okay, this is a. Ooh, should I give you a easy one? Nah.
No.
It's too close.
No, give me a hard.
Okay.
Give me the harder one.
All right, Donald Trump is the third president all time to be impeached.
Oh,
Who are the
Jesus.
other 2? 1 point per.
For Christ's sake. Well, who was? Bill Clinton.
That's 1.
Was he impeached though? I thought he just resigned.
He was impeached.
Bill. Okay. Quit clicking the pen, please. And I'll say. Joe Nixon. Well, he was around for Watergate, I think.
Joe Nixon?
Yeah.
That's not even a president. Thinking about Richard Nixon?
Richard Nixon.
You were thinking of Joe Mixon.
I was thinking of Joe Mixon and Richard Nixon. Yeah, Richard Nixon.
No, wrong.
Who?
I get my steal, don't I?
Oh, yeah, right. So you know one.
Well, I only guessed one. I can only get one point.
Yeah, you can only get one. So I got a point right here. So, okay.
I will go with... No, that guy got assassinated.
Yeah, it was a certain type of impeachment.
Can you get impeached and assassinated?
No, he wasn't impeached.
He was actually very much liked. Maybe 5 seconds.
No.
4, 3.
Abraham Lincoln?
He was also assassinated, but no. The answer was Andrew Johnson. Who is that? We don't know.
I don't know who the hell that is.
We're not American. All right.
Oh, who was it? Was Bill Clinton Watergate then?
That was Richard Nixon's Watergate.
But he didn't get impeached for that. He didn't? Really? I just assumed he was. And Bill Clinton,
he
because
resigned
he
and then
slept
got
with women, right?
He resigned and then got pardoned by his vice president.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm losing now, so I'm
what's the score?
It is 3.5 to 3.
We coming down. Final 2.
What kind of questions do we have left?
1 and 1.
We have one very easy one in. That's opportunity for 5. I'm gonna split that up between. I don't know. Whatever. All right, we have one in sports and one in modern events.
Let's go sports.
All right, sports. Okay, MLB Hall of Famer Bobby Cox became a fan favorite after consistently standing up for his players to the point of getting ejected a record amount of times. Over under the number of ejections.
There we go.
160.5. So over would be 161 and over. Under would be 160 and under. Did I say that right?
Well, I mean, yeah, but I don't want to include the 0.5.
I'm going to go with under.
Under? Final answer.
Yes.
You're incorrect.
Over.
He was over with 161. Guess you don't get to steal that one because it's 50% chance.
Oh.
Yeah, what the heck?
Well, I don't know. I just assumed.
If under is not right, I wonder what is right, Gus.
Well, I don't know.
All right,
you should.
What's the score? I'm up by half, right?
3, yeah.
3 to 3.5.
Right. So this. Okay, I'll get the last one. So
last one is fairly easy,
but it's worth 5, right?
It's worth 5. If
I can make 2, and you can still beat me if you get the other 3 points.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
What are the 5 colors on the Olympic rings?
Oh. I like my odds.
Red, blue, yellow, green.
All right, you already won.
And no, I want to get it. I'm trying to think of the 5th one. Red, blue, obviously. Yellow, green.
Yep.
What's another color?
Why would he help you out?
Well, I'm not. It's rhetorical. Okay. White. I don't know.
Nope.
What was the other color?
It was black.
Okay. Well, yeah. So did I
finish
won?
with a score
you
of?
Did. You got like 6.5.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 7.5 to 3 for
Abby.
Gus.
Big comeback.
Big downfall.
Big comeback win.
Went from 3, stayed at 3.
Yeah. So Ben has won the first round last time. I've won this round. It's now 1-1.
Do you want to give me your questions that you guys have?
Well,
well, we have the answers, so we could just say it to each other.
Yeah, we I don't think I don't know what time are we at?
For like an hour.
Let's cut. We can do that off. Nobody needs to hear our dumb questions. But wow. So this is by no means the last installment of trivia. Obviously,
well,
you can't end it tied. You can't do it. So now I think that was a big comeback win. But you came out of the gate strong.
I did.
And I got. Thank God there was the Olympic rings question. But yeah, so it's tied 1-1. We'll wait a bit. Now this may or may not be actually the last podcast for a little bit. We might go on hiatus because I know our administrator might be skipping town on us to go do some winter sporting, and we might be leaving the country unless this coronavirus thing hits Tampa. So we don't really know. We may be back next week.
We'll come back with some Jays.
Or I guess so I guess at the very least Ben and I will be back next week. Yep. Our administrator may or may not be here. So yeah, we don't actually know. Well, I'll say we're probably back next week, but who really knows? We might all be dead by then with this coronavirus.
Stay tuned to the Instagram story.
Stay tuned. If only one of us is here next week, you can guess what happened to the other one. Just to end it on this one note, I don't know if you've seen this. The NFL Combine is doing its thing. It's
those guys were trucking the 10-yard dash.
So yeah, but there's one guy in particular. He's a punter, I think, a punter or a kicker. I forget his name. But so one of the drills is there's 225-pound bar. I don't know what this thing bar.
Oh, and he
did 25 of those.
Yeah,
a punter.
Jeez.
Like he looked like just a scrawny little white guy, and he's just pounding that crap for 25.
Yeah, there was linemen running like 5'10s on the freaking 40-yard dash.
Ridiculous.
Too.
All these guys are just going off. And now I forget his name. There's also one receiver who I saw the highlight of.
Where he got smacked,
in the head twice, then he dropped 2 balls.
Yeah.
So
impressing the scouts there.
Lo and behold, I don't think he will be drafted. But anyways, I'm amazed they got punters doing that. Anyways. There was no football to talk about. Very little basketball because the Raps were just god awful. And baseball's starting up again. So we'll talk more about that, and I guess we may or may not talk to you next week. So we might see you then.